Welcome. Message from the streets. Now, I just now seen a sister giving her perspective on the teachings or what has been described as the Bible, and she has a foundation that starts at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, and she said that there were 21 other councils that made the biblical text, and what has led people astray in the world today for people that embrace these things. I'm gonna tell you like this: to take the teachings of the way before it was called Christianity back to the Vatican and what they did, it's just like taking the history of so-called black people at, starting off in America. So let's address this. The sister again saying that, hey, what they did in the Council of Nicaea, that was it, and that's what made the reality of what people believe today as far as these particular teachings. First of all, the teachings came from, not from the Vatican. The Vatican, they were a group of ruffians, with the Crusades and the Inquisitions, and ran down on people all over the lands, different lands, robbed, stole, and pillaged. They got those manuscripts, just like Socrates and Aristotle and Plato and the so-called Greek philosophers under Alexander the Greek. They got them and they translated them. And that's what the Europeans did. Those teachings are not or do not have a European Caucasian origin. And if someone can prove that they can with some valid information, I would greatly appreciate it. But you know what? You won't be able to prove it because you don't have it doesn't have any substance. It's a fallacy. It's a falsehood. It's one of those types of things whereas though when I talk to my Muslim brothers, early on, and fortunate for myself that I have read, and they would say, well, the church, the Christians did this and the Christians did that, talking about the Crusades and the Inquisition and all this other debauchery behavior. And I said, what Christians? Are you talking about Catholicism, the so-called universal church? Because that's an organization and an institution. There were people that embraced the way before Catholicism took it over and made it into what it is today. So the people that followed those teachings, they never did what the Catholic Church did or the Vatican ordered under the orders of the Pope. They never forced those teachings on nobody because the master teacher of those teachings told them, hey, go out into the world, and when you go out into the world, go to the people. If they accept you, give them your peace. If they reject you, brush your feet off and keep it moving. Never did it say if they accept it or they don't accept it, to give them the sword. And they do accept it, give them the cross. This is European Vatican teaching, and so many people try to discredit these authentic teachings that have a melanated source and origin because of their biases or their inability to comprehend or their inability to reason beyond the indoctrination of what we have today. All these different types of churches, they spin off, from different teachings. At the base of these teachings is the Vatican for what we know today in the Western society. But there were teachings before the Vatican. What about those teachings, and how did the people utilize those teachings in their lives to help their lives be a more tranquil, smoother life? Not maybe their personal outer experience. It's their inner experience that we are talking about. If you know anything about spirituality, it has nothing actually to do with the physical compensation of the material world. It's all about your pilgrimage with inside of yourself, your Hajj with inside of yourself. You're going up to Mount Sinai with inside of yourself to see the burning bush. It has nothing to do with the external world. A lot of people take these teachings, and because of the way that they have been presented, and make them all carnal. And they say, well, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. Of course it don't make no sense. You cannot do geometry with basic arithmetic. So the person that has the mind that can do geometry, trigonometry, and all those things, they can do all forms of mathematics. But the person that's in an introductory level, they can't just know their basic addition, multiplication, and division, and then they go straight into algebra. No, they got to be taught the formula. So within the learning, reading, and exercising in this life as spiritual beings, certain things start to be revealed to our minds. This is why some people have particular levels of visions, because of their frequencies. The frequency that each and every one of us have, we have our own unique frequency. And some of our frequency are more receptible to things that are beyond the reasoning of the carnal mind, while others, they just stuck in a rut. Because why? Their hearts are hardened. And what does a hardened heart do? Let me give you a scenario. Most people, they done heard of the teachings about Yahshua, Isa, Jesus in the tomb. He was in the tomb, and Mary, I believe it was Magdalene, came down, and the stone was moved, and the angelic being, the energy being was there, and said, why did you look for the living amongst the dead? And she was like, oh. So she went back to tell everybody else. But let me tell you what that means. That stone in that cave, anytime you hear the word cave, it's dealing with the heart. And what was the stone? The stone symbolizes the stony heart of the people. And most people have within inside of them the Christ consciousness locked up in the grave or the tomb of their own temple. And they can't get out because of their unbelief. The hardened heart seals the God energy within our temples, within ourselves, and it can't be released. Again, stone, hardened heart, cave is the heart. Move the stone away. That means that let your hearts become humble, become in submission, and you'll be able to receive. The stony heart represents stony ground. Just like in this day and time, if there was some grass fruitation out there and the construction workers came through and they put cement over the grass not going to grow no more. A few little stems might get through, but the grass itself, as it was before, is non-existent because the stone is stopping, or the cement is stopping the grass from growing. And that's just like with our hearts. When we harden our hearts, there's no more growth. The growth has come to a standstill. And when you harden your heart, you know what you're saying? You're standing on a foundation, and you're saying that you're God. And you know why you're saying you're God? Because you can't grow no more. You stuck in your own arrogance, in your own idolatry of yourself. That's why the teachers always teach, be humble. This is humbleness, means that allow your heart to become softened, and so that you can reason. It don't make you soft. It makes a person seem to be soft in this physical realm, whereas they want to cling on to this and make like this is the only thing. And if you believe that, keep on clinging on to it. Keep on buying land. Keep on, building up your riches and things, and be poor inside yourself. The kingdom of heaven, or bliss, or nirvana, is within us and all around us. But it's within us first. If you haven't found it within you, you can't experience it in the outer world. But you better believe this. Just as the kingdom of heaven is within us, the kingdom of hell is within us. And you see it every day. You see people out here miserable. They emotionally distraught. They on drugs. They on alcohol. They got the foulest of mouths. And then they going to talk about they know about chakras. Oh, we're going to open up the third eye. We're going to get to the crown chakra. How you going to get through the crown chakra when you can't even get past the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra, that deals with lies and profane speech? That's why they try to act like the people always expose themselves. If they telling people about what's necessary and what's supposed to be happening, and they got a foul mouth, that's saying that their frequency was coming out of their mouth, because the power of life and death is in the tongue. So if you talking sideways and reckless, and maybe it is okay, but you're teaching others that it's okay because you did it and they following you, and you're going to be held responsible for it. So that's why it's good to be able to, critique your language and think instead of just saying what just comes off of the top of your mind. When you cursing, using this foul language, what is you saying? You ain't saying nothing. You speaking gibberish. Gibberish, zero. Where's your intelligence at? I always believe since I was younger that the reason that most people cuss because they don't have the vocabulary or the vocabulary to be able to have a word to replace that word. Sometimes I know people get angry and they say things, but we got, again, let's look at this frequency thing, because a lot of people is into that. What you say out your mouth is a frequency. It's a vibration. According to the teachings that everything in creation was created. This is coming from a biblical perspective or a spiritual perspective. But the only thing it's saying is because of vibration. Wrong about this. One of my men said, well, he comprehended that the vibration was what it was, but he said, then how did different things come about? How did that come about? You got the vibrations, and then you got different tunes or different notes. Say like if you're on the piano, the A will make one thing, the B will make another thing, the C sharp will make another thing. So when these different tones come, the vibration change. I got a little bit off the course the topic, but again, you must do your own homework. Don't listen to a lot of these educated, ignorant people out here. See what I'm saying? I'm the type of person if I speak what I spoke, and you go and you come with me with some information that counter or challenges what I spoke on or what I was standing on, and if I see what you're saying is true, I'm gonna make the adjustments. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, as I spoke earlier, everything is not on the same level. And my experience have allowed me to have discernment about some things, and you come with a carnal perspective, I can't accept that because I already know that which is greater than myself has revealed it to me. Let me tell you one thing before I go. I'm about to wind this down. So there's a story in the biblical text, and it says that Joshua, Jesus, Jesus, he walked out on, it was a storm. That was another story. It was a storm, and he was in the bottom of the ship. And the disciples came, or those that was following, say, "Man, Master, we're about to perish." And then he got up and said, walked up, "O ye of little faith." The preachers in them, they never told you this. What that actually means is that we are that ship. Let me say that again. We are the ship. And the turbulence is the events in the series that's happening in our lives that get us all shooken up. And the only thing we got to do when these things come, we got to neutralize it. And don't go with the pendulum and say, peace, be still. In the waves of the turbulence that may be emotional or maybe without job or whatever, it's going to calm down because we have that type of power. There's power in the word. Peace, be still. Neutralize it. Neutralize the pendulum swing. The waves will become calm and the sea will become clear. So we can see. Not with these eyes, but with this eye. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring this scenario to a conclusion. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. I'm really new to this live thing, so I got to try to get it together. But I have information that I want to share, and I want people to challenge. Line upon line and precepts upon precepts. That's what we do. You know what? It's about each one teach one. Reasoning and working on out. We got to get the falsehood up out of here. Because a lot of things that we have been accustomed to only deals with tradition, and a lot of those traditions are the traditions of men. Peace, love, and goodwill to all.